Melrose Alliance Against Violence was founded in 1995, and it really started out as a grassroots movement to provide support to survivors of domestic violence. Our mission is to provide awareness and education around domestic and teen dating violence, and we do this through education, support, and outreach to survivors. We work in our schools with families, with law enforcement, and city leaders, really with anyone who shares our commitment to promoting healthy relationships. From youth prevention programs and educational workshops to support groups and survivor advocacy, we're here to listen, to support, and to end the cycle of abuse before it begins. As we mark 30 years of this work, we're also celebrating the thousands of people who have stood with us. Our community has helped us into who we are today.
I'm Eileen Hamblin. I'm one of the founders of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence. In the year 1995, the State League of Women Voters studied domestic violence, and the Melrose League followed suit. The study was eye-opening because none of us realized how many restraining orders there were in Melrose. Once the study was complete, the League could vote to take a stand on an issue. In this case, several members of the League formed a committee to investigate what action we would take in response to the results of the study. We met frequently and hashed out ideas and decided to form an organization to tackle domestic violence through study and action. Well, there were several League members on that first board of directors. An effort was made to include appropriate stakeholders in the community, like members of the clergy, the Melrose Police Department, some city leaders, and others. The board quickly realized there were functions that volunteers couldn't adequately perform. Fundraising, grant writing resulted in a search for a director, and fortunately, Rebecca Mooney accepted. The board couldn't have made a better choice.
I'm Rebecca Mooney, and I served as the Executive Director of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence for 25 years, from 1997 to 2022. So I was hired as the program coordinator in 1997, just at 10 hours a week, and the organization had really just launched a board of directors that was made up from the schools, the clergy, the hospital, the police, and they formed the board of directors and had done some community awareness events. They had started the annual walk, actually. That was one of their first things that they did. My background was really in working with the youth in prevention. So the first things that I did were to go into the schools and to propose some education programs, both at the middle school and at the high school. And then in 2004, we received a federal grant for youth violence prevention. And that enabled us to expand on what we were already doing with teen dating violence prevention, and we added bullying prevention and the mentoring program. And that was just a huge leap forward for MAVE because it was just me for those first few years, and I was able to hire an administrative assistant, a bullying prevention coordinator, and a mentoring program coordinator. In 2010, there was an anti-bullying law that was passed, and all schools were required to offer trainings for their staff and programs for students. Over the next couple of years, we made concentrated efforts to do that and worked with over 30 other school systems. In 2012, we received another federal grant for preventing teen dating violence and sexual assault, and that was called the STEP grant. Because of all the things we were doing, I guess, our grant advisor chose us to speak at the White House. This was 2013, and it was part of Teen Dating Violence Awareness Month. And when they invited me, I said, can I bring a student? Because I really believe in student voices, and I knew that he would have probably more of an impact than me. Zeke Viner at the time was just an incredible student leader, and so he came with me, we both spoke. They played our video, and it was really a high point. So Joan Bell was the president of the board of MAVE for 20 of the 25 years that I served as executive director. So we worked just hand in hand, so closely together. And we were very different people, but we just had tremendous love and respect for each other. She sadly passed away very suddenly, just a couple months ago, and those of us that knew Joan are still just grappling with the tremendous loss. She was a doer and a leader, and with her signature, how are we? How we doing? She just made everybody around her feel good and feel glad to be a part of MAVE. She was the superintendent of the Parks Department for the city of Melrose, so her connections with the city, with City Hall, with sports teams, all of that was of tremendous value. And really, just the organization would not be what it is today without Joan Bell. MAVE has just grown and expanded in so many ways over the years, but always stayed true to the original mission that that small group of people had at the very beginning, to work to stop domestic violence. We started a support group for survivors that was really thanks to a survivor on our board.
My name is Karen Willis. I am a physical therapist. I have a master's degree in public health. I've been in the healthcare field for 35 years, and I have been on the board of directors for the Alliance Against Violence for 15. During my tenure, I have also been an active member of the WALK Committee and the mentoring program. As a 25-year survivor of domestic violence, I believe my personal journey has provided a unique and valuable perspective to the board. In the difficult initial period following my former spouse's arrest, my job in Boston allowed me easy access to the crucial support group services of Haven at Mass General. It was only later, as I began my advocacy, that I realized how fortunate I had been. I discovered that the nearest support groups to Melrose were located in Salem and Somerville. The access to a support group made an immeasurable difference in my case, providing the strength I needed to begin my journey towards survivorship, a path I believe would have been much longer without that support. One of my primary goals upon joining the board was to establish a local weekly support group for victims and survivors of domestic violence. I'm incredibly proud that this vision became a reality in 2012. This group continues to offer invaluable validation and encouragement to its members, creating a vital space where individuals with similar experiences can connect and know that their feelings and perceptions of abusive situations are valid.
When I first started at MAVE, my passion was really working with youth and youth leadership development. So when we had our board meetings, I said, we really need some students on the board. We need student representation. Kind of thought more about it after a year or two and said, you know what, they really need their own group. So we kept student representation on the board, but we formed a group and we called it the Student Advisory Board. So the idea was they would advise us on things. Well, after a couple years of that, we changed the name to Student Action Board because they really became a force in and of themselves. And really our philosophy all those years was that students are capable, they're resourceful, and they're the best messengers for educating their peers.
My name is Joe Perillo. I am a guidance counselor at Melrose High School, and I'm finishing my 20th year as one of the advisors to the Melrose Alliance Against Violence Student Action Board. I think Student Action Board is one of the most unique groups in MHS. Having a student leadership board comprised of a diverse group of student leaders is the best way to address the issues of dating violence prevention and to find ways to help promote healthy relationships. I'll put out a notification to all 9th grade students that any student is interested in becoming part of the Melrose Alliance Against Violence Student Action Board. Anywhere from 25 to 40 students apply, so it's a really popular opportunity for students. And after an interview process, we'll select 9 student leaders that we're going to invite to join the program. And then those students will stay part of the program for 10th grade, 11th grade, and 12th grade. The idea is that we want the students to be accountable to the group. We want them to be committed to the program. We want them to go through an appropriate amount of training so that they are comfortable with our topics, and that they're also accountable to each other.
My name is Sid McQuaid. I'm a senior at Melrose High School, and I'm a current member of the Student Action Board. I chose to apply because I saw the freshman seminar presentations, and I thought the teachings of MAVE were pretty important, especially for people my age, and I just felt that it was a good message that they were spreading. It's been a great opportunity for myself to learn and spread the teachings of MAVE as well. I would just say to put yourself out there and be passionate. That's kind of how I got in the Student Action Board. I was in the WALK Committee for 2 years, and there were a lot of alums and just adults in the community who wanted to help out, so I hope I'm going to be able to do that. I'm pretty confident I will.
My name is Maria Drago, and I was a member of the Student Action Board from 2014 to 2017 at my time at Melrose High School, and I'm now a part of the Board of Directors. I feel like MAVE has given me some great resources to be able to identify if there's an issue in a relationship and someone needs my assistance. I'm able to look at it with a careful eye and be able to help in a way that isn't too intrusive, but they're still feeling supported. And I feel like I've gotten great communication skills as well. Being able to go into the classrooms really gave me an opportunity to learn my presentation skills and work with individuals at a young level. As social media usage has grown and we are able to see just how widespread the issue of domestic violence is, it reinforces the importance of why we do what we do. My eyes are very early on open to the fact that there is an issue that even our small city of Melrose deals with, and that I can make an impact on at least one person's life. That means a lot to me.
We're proud of what we built together and even more excited for what's to come. Outside of the work in the with schools and with survivors, MAVE's presence is felt in the community throughout the year. MAVE has 3 long-standing events that we put on annually. White Ribbon Day is held in front of City Hall each March as part of a larger international campaign that calls upon all male-identifying people to stand up and be counted as allies, taking a pledge that they will never commit, condone, or remain silent about violence against women or girls. Members of the Student Action Board lead the pledge and raise the flag as community members join together to take a stand against all forms of gender-based violence. The Voices Against Violence Community Coffee House is presented each spring and welcomes performers of all ages to share their talents with the community as a way to show support towards efforts to break the cycle of violence. The event is always multi-generational and all proceeds directly benefit Student Action Board programming. The annual Candlelight Vigil and Walk to End Domestic Violence is MAVE's longest standing and largest fundraising event. Held in October, which is Domestic Violence Awareness Month, the event begins with a solemn vigil to honor all those who have lost their lives due to domestic violence in Massachusetts during that year. Following the vigil, attendees participate in a 2-mile walk through the center of Melrose to unite as a community to stand with those affected by domestic violence and to advocate for a future free from abuse. MAVE has also been fortunate to be the recipient of proceeds donated by the Melrose Running Club from their very popular Mother's Day Melrose Run for Women. Since the race's inception in 1998, the Melrose Running Club has donated over $348,000 to MAVE. And in celebration of MAVE's 30th anniversary, a new event is coming this June. Summerfest will be a family-friendly celebration of the work, the supporters, and the community, all of which have built MAVE into what it is today.
Looking forward to the future, I look forward to supporting the Melrose Alliance Against Violence as advisor to the Student Action Board and participating in all the community programs that we've done in the past and trying to create new ones in the future as well.
MAVE means caring for those we know and those we don't know, caring enough to teach our young people about respect, about healthy relationships, and about changing the world around them.
It's given me an opportunity to consistently get to be connected with community and be able to be a voice for the people that don't have one.
It is an honor to be on the board of directors, and I want to congratulate the Alliance Against Violence for 30 years of amazing work.
A friend of mine once said that MAVE is simply part of the fabric of the community at this point, and I agree with that, and I took it as a very high compliment to the organization.
Whether it's through education, direct support, or prevention, MAVE will continue to be here to provide hope, healing, and connection for the next 30 years and beyond.